How's it going, you guys? So yesterday I made a video talking about how modern humans are pathetic and weak, how we are addicted to instant gratification, things like porn, drugs, sugar, junk food, refined foods, and our brain is being hijacked, our health is being hijacked, and in comparison to what we believe was like ancient humans, who were the apex predators who killed off all the megafauna and the woolly mammoth into extinction, and we evolved over millions of years to become like the superior rate, the superior beings on the planet or whatever. Um, and we used to run, hundreds of miles a day or whatever. I was using evolution as kind of like the backbone to describe the comparison between hunter-gatherers and indigenous people and these civilized people, right? And I got the funniest comment on that video. And it's kind of ironic because in this video, I was talking about tribalism, was one of the examples I brought up, how another way that we're weak is that when we have a certain belief or whatever, like for example politics, we believe in one politician, one president over the other, and everyone else is a fool. Everyone else who doesn't believe in my tribe, they're the enemy because they're opposing my belief. They're a threat to my belief. And the same thing goes for religion. Religion. You have, I believe that Buddhism is actually the largest religion in the world. I believe it was Buddhism. And then you have Christianity and you have all these other ones. And we always hear about these crazy acts of evil that happen in the name of religion, because for whatever reason we're somehow opposing the other person's religion, like 9/11, stuff like that. And by the way, I don't necessarily believe that that was actually the truth of how that went down, but the point is tribalism is inherent in human nature, and we attack whatever tribes threaten our own, whatever belief systems threaten our own. It's confirmation bias. It's how dogma operates, and 99% of humans operate under that dogma. So the ironic thing is, some random guy on my YouTube channel. Like originally, I was kind of like some of his comments were kind of like out there and like kind of screamed of somebody who has some cognitive issues that he needs to work over. But I was like, dealing with it in a positive fashion, not gonna like battle the guy. Don't know him, random stranger on YouTube. Does have some videos, some weird videos up. Anyway, guy comments on the video. Being the perfect example of the tribalism in which I was speaking of, telling me evolution is a hoax, is a satanic hoax created by Freemasons. Now listen, and he's telling me I'm brainwashed. I'm brainwashed because I believe in evolution. I'm brainwashed by Freemason Satanism. Okay, so I'm making this video because a lot of people wonder what my religion is and things like that. And I want to talk about about my own beliefs about the universe and things anyway. But that video, I was using evolution as a backbone to describe everything. But I personally actually don't believe evolution is the truth or it's 100% correct. I don't believe that, finding these fossilized bones and things like that are proof of anything being true or fact. However, I have found that the theory of evolution, the idea of evolution, actually has some very functional application to how I live my life. I can see that, in social dynamics, the whole idea of tribes and human evolution and things like that, they seem to be they seem to work very well in my favor if I view them in terms of human evolution. Things like dogma and tribalism politics, religion, nutritional dogma, and things like that, the easiest way for me to deal with them is to view them as opposing tribes and things. Regardless of whether evolution is true or not, if you view them as opposing tribes from ancient, ancestors, it's been programmed into human nature, it helps me deal with people more effectively. I understand that it's more of a threat to their ego rather than anything personal. But same thing goes with how to get better relationships. Seeing, understanding female psychology and things like that. I used to not buy into these types of ideas until I realized how much more effective I was at dealing with the world and at achieving results in life when I started to view society and life and how I deal with things through the lens of the evolutionary idea. Anyway, let me read some of these guys' comments because it's funny and I've babbled on too much. So, all right. So this guy says evolution is a hoax. Do your research. Evolution is not science. It's theory. Theory is lies. And then I told him, yes, it is. Evolution is a theory. And everything in science is based on theories, and with a couple of exceptions, things like mathematics, software engineering, and things like that. Everything in science is based on gathering evidence and then interpreting that evidence to the best of your own critical thinking ability. That's what science really is. It's a collection of literature and knowledge and observations of the natural world that we have studies to support. But science is not about determining absolute truth. And this guy doesn't seem to actually understand science, unfortunately. And there's a lot of people who actually have graduate degrees in science who view science through this immature and incomplete fashion. This guy says that science is, where is it? Science is observable, measurable, and repeatable. And then he tells me, go and do my research. He says, don't believe in satanic doctrine, satanic anecdotes. I'm believing in satanic anecdotes by talking about evolution. Evolution is satanic anecdotes. And he says science is observable, measurable, and repeatable. But then he says, go do your research. I'm trying to find God's people. You have faith in satanic doctrine. Okay, so first of all, science. So here's the thing: if this guy actually knew the flaws in science like I do, despite the fact that I personally make videos about science on a regular basis, I acknowledge the fact that most people who talk about science view it the wrong way. They view it in this guy's paradigm. They view it as like trying to demonstrate repeatable facts and objective truths. The reality is that science does not identify objective truths. But the funny thing is, he tells me, do my research. Evolution is satanic anecdote. I believe in God. I'm trying to find God's people. You're believing in Freemasonry. So, Guy, are you telling me that you can give me repeatable, demonstrable, objective, solid evidence of God existing, of us being created by God? Okay, so my original reply to him was that I don't believe that there is any way that we can prove anything about things that happened over 5,000 years ago. There's evidence that we might have. Paintings, or not paintings, but like drawings and carvings in stone temples and things like that. And then we have to use technology to try to estimate how long they've been around. And in my opinion, I don't believe that that is like good enough to put all your faith in a belief about it. I don't feel like that's adequate evidence, And this in and of itself is a flaw with the theory of evolution, is that a lot of the evidence is very shaky. it is still evidence nonetheless, and it works. I mean, if we look through the lens of evolution and the evidence we have about human evolution and humans evolving as carnivores and things. And by the way, this guy has had videos where he advocates a carnivore diet. His channel used to be called Carnivore Alliance. So you believe in the carnivore diet, but you don't believe in human evolution. Like, the carnivore diet is pretty much built on the idea that humans evolved as carnivores. And all the scientific evidence that backs up the carnivore diet, a lot of that comes from all the archaeological evidence, and there is a lot of it. Again, not to say that there's adequate evidence to prove that it's truth or anything. And I personally, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that we're evolved from monkeys. I know a lot of people are they're gonna like talk crap about this, but I feel like all this talk about angels and stuff like that. I think that there's a huge possibility that there were probably alien visitors and they thought they were angels. Because if you look in Egyptian scripture, which predates Christianity, um, all of these heads and things that you see, like these weird entities, like with the dog heads and things, the pharaohs, and these things coming down from the sky, which again kind of is what Christianity talks about as angels. I think these were aliens, and I wonder if humans are not from this planet. And look, I don't believe in all of this because again, my reply to this guy was that I don't I don't think we know. I don't think we can know. And he's telling me I'm brainwashed and all this crap because I don't believe in anything. And that's actually the fundamental issue with this guy and his thinking, is that he fully buys into some uh, view of the world and where humans came from without any way to prove that it's even true. Now, maybe he's going to give me some proof. I don't know. Personally, I don't know what's wrong with this guy. I think he has some mental issues, honestly. And I think a lot of people, they have way too much time on their hands and they spend too much time going down these rabbit holes of conspiracy theory videos. Um, it's a never-ending spiral of confirmation bias, you know. And that's all that a lot of any of this is confirmation bias that we can't get out of, which is 100. And this is really why I don't allow myself to just buy into any of this. I might talk about evolution as if that's something that I buy into, but that's because it plays a fundamental functional role in my life. It's not dysfunctional. A belief that's dysfunctional would be, you know, like everyone on the planet are evil, possessed devils, and if they don't believe in my paradigm, then they're evil and they're devilish and they must perish. Because then I'm not going to be able to enjoy life. I'm not going to be able to achieve anything in life, and every single day I'm going to be filled with hatred and just really bad like tendencies, right? And the funny thing is, this guy, he has videos on his channel where he's like cussing at some and talking shit about some woman. I guess she's a vegan woman, Michelle Lowe or something, and just dogging on her because she's old and wrinkly or something. But yet he's talking about finding God and God's children and satanic. And if you don't believe him, you're brainwashed and satanic. Like, I really don't think that, because I have friends that are Christians who I appreciate, who, I have actually one of my best friends who's in the army right now. And he's really dogmatic about his Christianity, but he's a good person. And I don't like when he brings it up because he's just like really kind of psychotic about it. He's like, oh, and won't let. And I ask him questions to try to get deeper, but he doesn't want to hear those questions because he doesn't want to doubt his belief. But he's a good person, and he has good intentions and spreads love, appreciation, and things like that. But this guy does not spread the word of God at all. Anyway, and I actually went to church as a child, and I was in a youth group church mainly to pick up women. But from the time I was 16 until I was, 19, I was in like a weird like church program where it was like a whole hour of worship and then another hour of just hanging out. So Anyway, I just find this funny. So I don't my beliefs on religion. I don't believe that we can really prove anything about about the original creation, like what created us. And I told this guy that, and then he said that nothing can be proven as satanic doctrine, aimed to get you to believe in germ theory, and you need to think for yourself. Don't believe in the satanic anecdotes. Um, and I just don't know how you can think of anything like science's anecdotes and things like that if you believe in Christianity. It doesn't make any sense. I think my view on science and the fact that science has a very hard time of actually proving objective truth at all, I think that that is more congruent to the belief in God. And for me, the main reason why I'm even open to the possibility that there's a God or anything like that is the fact that I understand how to interpret science. I understand that science cannot usually, besides 1 + 1 = 2, besides, computer software and planes, like in engineering and stuff like that, it's open to subjective opinions and judgments. But this guy, is not making any sense, basically. So you should probably go and look at my video on human evolution so you could see exactly what I'm talking about. So this guy did leave me a couple of other comments, but I deleted them because, I don't know, it just seemed schizophrenic and weird. And I feel like people, if you're going to leave dumb comments especially, leave them all in one comment so that when I respond, I don't have to be responding to multiple comments. I want all of your irrational thought patterns to be in one comment that I can reply to so that anyone who sees it, they can give me their interpretations. And I find these things amusing, and lately I've been wondering how exactly am I supposed to, for one, I don't have a lot of time to be dealing with these types of comments, but the fact is I want to deal with them because, well, some of them, because they're thought provoking sometimes, and especially on this video where I'm talking about tribalism, anecdotes. Evolution is all anecdotes. Find God. Yeah. Now, I'm not making fun of God at all. Because I do believe that there's something beyond, I believe spirituality and even a lot of aspects of the mind. I believe that if we are to interpret the spirit and the mind with science, I believe it needs an entirely different method than what we have established for physical science. I don't believe that God and the universe and the spirit and the mind, I don't believe these things that are beyond physical can be studied with our current established method of science. And the main reason why is because in order to interpret scientific evidence, you have to use the mind and this whole spiritual phenomena in the first place. But the really fucked up thing about all this is that 99% of people, they're interpreting what I'm saying through their own mental dogma. And because of that, they can't actually fully understand what I'm saying. In order for you to understand that, we just can't prove what created humans, and maybe there is some proof. Show it to me, please. But in order to accept the fact that science does not prove objective fact, we have to be open to the possibility that our own beliefs about how the world works might not be true, and we might never be able to prove that they're true. But the problem is that tribalism, the very nature of tribalism, is we want to try so hard to prove that our belief is true. I wish I could be brainwashed into believing that, God is real, I want to believe something. My mind is constantly skeptical about every fucking thing. I can't buy into anything because in order for me to believe any of this shit is true, I need adequate evidence. The only things that I really have strong beliefs about really are, for one, your thoughts influence your emotions and then the emotion that influences your behaviors, and all of this has a direct impact on the direction of your life. And I think that that's a huge thing I'm passionate about. And I think that that is something that can be proven, sure, but only in your own experience. You have to believe that that's true in order to experience that. Other thing, nutritional science, because we can do intervention trials, we can analyze hundreds of thousands of people to see their results. And I can, I can see that there's very, very clearly an objective factor involved that's driving metabolic diseases. And I believe that we can come very close to figuring out the most likely possible factors involved in that. But can we actually prove without a shadow of a doubt what's causing that? It's not likely. Anyway, yeah, you're not going to catch me saying insisting that anything is true about God or the religion or the universe, but I do my best to stay grounded in some type of life philosophy. I don't view the whole world through the lens of evolution, but I use it as to structure some of the dynamics involved about belief systems and things like that, because it works and it makes sense. And the same thing goes for things like, why humans are the way they are, as far as, super athletes and nutrition and things like that. And the fact is, we do have a lot of evidence to support evolution. We have indigenous cultures that we study, and we have, cave paintings, and we have fossilized bones, and we can actually measure the nitrogen in them. And there's a lot of, rocks and structures and things in the world that we can actually observe and deduct assumptions. Doesn't prove anything, but I don't know. I just show me some evidence that God exists, I guess. But yeah, and I think arguing with people about these types of things, especially if the other person is convinced that his way is the right way, I don't know why anyone would waste their time with that. I think that that's very schizophrenic, honestly. Anyway, I don't even know if I'm gonna post this video. Let me know what you guys think down below.